Hey, it's Marcus Trufant here, former Seattle Seahawk. I wanted to say congratulations for making it 10 seasons with the Olympia Fantasy Football League. That's awesome. Keep up the good work. But now it's time to start prepping for this year's upcoming draft. So you guys get ready for that. Get your game face on. It's time to get down to business. I also wanted to talk about one of my favorite podcasts, the Full Fantasy Podcast. Let's get geared up for that. It's time to tune in once again. And last but not least, and most important, go easy on Commissioner Spiller. He's doing a damn good job, and he's doing the best that he can, and he's making it happen. So, all right, you guys, it's time to get ready. Go Hawks. Peace out. Let's go.
Welcome back to week two. Welcome back to week two of Faux Fantasy. Now, last week we were able to meet with not only our commissioner, but our defending champion, Nate Logue, who has graciously elected to join us later on in this Zoom meeting call. But before that, we'd like to touch base on some of the more interesting news that's hitting our ever-so-changing league that we're using as a catalyst for our faux life. Joe, why don't you open us up there a little bit?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Neil. Thank you so much, and it's so good to be back here, joining you all when I'm not playing golf. Yeah, just right off the bat, right? Let's address the elephant in the room. We don't really know what the NFL is going to look like this season, and as much as we kind of live in this fantasy land, you can't have fantasy football without real live football, and we just don't know what real live football is going to look like this year. You know, we have sort of player after player opting out of the entire season, saying that, you know, they're choosing them and their family's health over football this year. And I got to tell you, I don't know if I would do things differently if I were them. I see where they're coming from. You have big name, high profile players being tested. Gardner Minshew, Matt Stafford, both being tested. And so, I mean, it begs the question. I mean, if these big name players, you know, especially, you know, a star quarterback, test positive for COVID-19, what does that mean for the team in their season? And how likely is it that, you know, more and more quarterbacks or key players will just keep getting this disease and keep influencing the league? And if the league is influenced, the NFL, then that's going to hugely influence Olympia Football Fantasy League. So would be interested to hear the commissioner's thoughts on this at some point. Would be interested to hear other OFFL's coaches' thoughts. Would be interested to hear your thoughts, Neil. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, it's interesting to note that, you know, given this past week how some players have opted out, and, you know, they've made statements about not wanting to participate this season, and the commissioner, our commissioner especially, has he's remained silent through it all. A lot of us players in the league, we've got questions left and right. You know, the draft is coming up, and we've got, you know, anxious trigger fingers on who we want to, you know, who we want on our squad. And these are big name players, people that we can rely on to get us a lot of points. So, you know, do we push it back farther? We don't know. And I mean, we know with our commissioner's track record, he likes to bring it up closer rather than later. And frankly, I mean, he doesn't have a real good resume with us. And
he's made a lot of coaches very angry. Let's say that, right? I mean, I think we can all, they're talk about another elephant in the room.
he can come on here all he wants, show face and try to be just the people person that he is, but at the end of the day, he's just a lying sack of garbage, and the cat's out of the bag.
I want to mention at least one more a little piece of NFL news. The Washington, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, have changed their name to the Washington Football Team. Now, I think this is what you people listen for, is kind of our opinions on things, at least to some degree. I'm going to give my opinion here just right off the bat. Now, I understand that they're just using this as a placeholder, the Washington Football Team. But I think there were so many creative placeholders they could have chosen instead of the Washington Football Team. Neil, what do you think?
Well, from the allotted list that I saw of potential names, and I saw a few. Was it the Red Tails? Was one of them? I think I saw the Generals. I don't know. I think everybody has an opinion on the matter of what could be a cool name, because obviously people want to see a cool name with a cool logo. Honestly, I think they could have just moved the team. That's just my humble opinion. Move the team to a more suitable town with a more suitable fan base with, just pack up and move, start fresh. There's nothing wrong with that this day and age. Just start fresh.
Now
But-
that's a hot take. I mean, just a complete rebrand. I mean, forget about just changing the name.
Yeah,
Change the location.
Just wash it all out.
Move FedEx Field. I actually, this is just a little personal, little selfish, little tangent here. I actually got the chance to see a game at FedEx Field back when the Washington Football Team was still the Washington Redskins. There's a guy by the name of Adrian Peterson, right? And if you know me, you know I've told this story.
Sly cat.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
I heard.
So, and he had that big comeback season after that. He tore his ACL at FedEx Field, playing against the Washington Redskins, and I happened to be in attendance. Not the best circumstances to view a competitive event. You never want to see somebody get injured, especially to that extent. An ACL that can be potentially career-ending. It wasn't in the case of AP, thank God, but it was a monumental day, and even if the Washington Football Team changed locations, which they're not talking about, but if they did, that's a memory I would always keep of the DC Football Club there.
Well, now he plays for them, so. I mean, what goes around comes around, right?
It's kind of funny how that works out.
I don't know. That's just my personal humble opinion. So it varies.
As somebody, as a lot of our listeners may know, I come from the Pacific Northwest. Grew up a big Seattle sports fan. After the Sonics left in 2008, my heart felt like it was ripped out. And so anytime there are talks of moving a team, it makes me feel away. And I always hope that it doesn't happen. Unless it's an NBA team moving to Seattle, then I'm all for it.
We'd love to see that one come back.
Absolutely. But this is a football podcast.
Hey, we don't talk about that here. Come on now.
Yeah.
We're joshing around.
Yeah.
But we will have Nate on later on, like I said. And funny that you mentioned the name, because he did actually change his name in this league from what was a very controversial name, which we will not even utter because of it's just sickening to even think about what his name used to be.
Our company wouldn't even let us air that, but we wouldn't ourselves, no matter what.
No, not our sponsor would be furious. And he's actually changed it to football team. That is his name now, just football team. So I think that he has made strides, and frankly, I think he's matured. He's matured and grown, and I think that comes with what he earned as being champion. Some may call it a little bit of cockiness, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
I agree with you. I think in this offseason, it seems like personally he's grown leaps and bounds. Just a really nice, cleaned up, politically correct team name there, the football team. I did kind of throw some shade at DC for their lack of creativity and their placeholder there, but I commend Coach Logue here in this case. I think it's a good move for him.
I've also realized that, hearkening back to last season of our podcast, and now moving forward into season 2, some of our listeners, they're not as, I guess, familiar with what we are even talking about, what we're referencing. And so I think we should introduce them a little bit to our cast of characters a little bit.
Yeah.
So for those of you listening, watching, whatever you're doing.
Hold on, Neil, one more time. Can we readjust in our chairs one more time? I kind of like the sort of energy shift when we do that. So I'm going to,
it just kind of gets long day in the office. You get back and you're just like, oh, you're drinking the big old Voss water.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Voss water from Norway.
Oh, we got a fancy guy over there. You know what okay, give me a Dasani, right? Give me a Dasani.
Oh, I was thirsty. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Wow.
Right in the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets caught up in there. This is I call it a little quarantine stash. I don't know if you've tried it. Anything goes in quarantine, right? For example, I'm not wearing pants. I don't know if it's too early to reveal this, but I'm not wearing pants, folks. I'm just wearing shorts.
Hey, who is? You
don't have to anymore, right?
I'm wearing tank top.
Yeah,
tank top.
So I do have a pocket square though. So
keeping it fancy. That's how we roll on this thing.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I mean, you're letting it loose.
Me, sorry.
No, you're good.
It's the Voss.
I mean, what am I saying? Our champion, returning champion, Nate Logue, who will be on very shortly, goes subtly by the name of Football Team. He's the owner of the football team. He's a little bit quiet, a little bit humble. But if you get underneath his nails a little bit, he will come after you. He'll come after you hard. And he did that last season. He came after one of our fellow league owners and put out a threat. It was a one-on-one interview. He put forth a bet, actually, and didn't actually lose that bet, from what I understand. But anyways, that remains to be seen. You and I, we're both owners in the league, but we remain completely objective to what happens. Correct? Am I not wrong with that statement?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I mean, I have vague memories of talking about my team on the podcast. No. I think, and that was, if I remember it correctly, it was pretty brief. and I didn't go in too deep on my own team. And if I remember correctly, once I stepped into this co-host role, I kind of stopped talking about my team entirely. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not still running my team.
Now, I'm not trying to step on toes here. I do have. Obviously, this is from last season, so it kind of goes like, we forget about last season. I do have you as saying, "Holy fucking shit! I'm going to get fucked in the ass this week by." Did something along those lines?
Neil, you know I'm a journalist. I'm all about honesty, getting information out there. I don't know what in the hell you're talking about.
Well, folks, if you have any questions, go ahead and listen to episode 3, 2 or 3, and I don't know. There might be something in there.
Did I really say that?
It was a
That doesn't sound like something I'd say on the air.
it was a long Sunday afternoon. Joe at the time.
Are you sure?
Joe at the time had not won a game, and
I just, you know what? Before, I would love to have that confirmed before we put that out because it's a pretty graphic statement there. And maybe sort of back in my younger days after a couple drinks, I could see myself saying that.
We'll
But
bleep it out.
now I'm older. I wear a suit. I have a mustache, and it just
yeah.
It just doesn't sound like something I'd say on the air. So
Honestly,
until we confirm that, I would love for people to sort of give me the benefit of the doubt there on that one.
Water under the bridge, and frankly, it could have been your assistant coach. So
yeah, it really could have been. Sometimes, I have so many people on my staff. It can be really tough to keep up with every single little thing that they're saying. So if that was said by me or by any of my staff, I will have an apology for you on the next episode because I hold myself to a higher standard than that.
it's okay. It's okay. And obviously we have just the outlying teams, like
couple teams by the name of bye week, right?
He actually changed it to first to worst. He's absolutely just the maverick of the league. We never really can tell what's going to happen with him. Coach Caleb Butcher, week to week, tempers really fly with him. Makes the wrong call. He might just come guns a-blazing and scorch you on the field, but if he's losing, he'll let you know. And we hope that day never comes.
Absolutely. Well, Neil, we spoke a little bit about him earlier, and now that we've touched on some NFL news and some OFFL news, should we patch Nate Logue here into the call?
Yeah, no, I will for sure put him through here. If he would just join the Zoom meeting. Let's see if I can't get him through.
While we wait, Neil, I want to ask you, were you a big football jersey guy growing up? Did you wear NFL jerseys?
You're going to hate me for this. I was not.
You know what? I feel like I remember that because that's partly I'm realizing now why I asked, because I feel like I don't remember you.
I could never.
NFL jerseys.
I never could pull them off. I always wanted them. I had one LaDainian Tomlinson jersey, thought it was cool, grew out of it. Never could rock them.
They were big and boxy and oversized. Like no matter what size you bought, they always seemed, because they're supposed to go over shoulder pads, which a lot of people don't realize. But
By
they're supposed to
far.
go over shoulder pads, so when you wear them without, they're going to fit a little big.
It's the main theme of them. But no, I actually never had more than just probably one. And I was in like the 5th grade. I always thought it was cooler to wear my actual football jersey because I was the tool. Um,
I
I
think it
was
is cooler.
I always envied the friends that had many of them. I know our sponsor, Mr. Stock, had plenty of them. Yeah,
He
and,
probably had the most. I was probably up there too. I had a lot. I had a Reggie Bush Saints jersey. I had a Mike Vick Falcons jersey. I had a Peyton Manning jersey. I had a Brett Favre jersey. When I was young and still lived in Colorado, I had a John Elway jersey. That was my first one. So, yeah, I was a big jersey guy.
while we're waiting for Nate here, it's a good time to bring up our new sponsor, or not our new sponsor, but our reoccurring sponsor, Aaron Stock Insurance. Huge supporter of this show, our podcast, or now our YouTube channel. He has graciously come up with our new logo, which you have seen at the beginning of this episode, and has also come up with some of the new merch that you will see on our Instagram page and hopefully shortly see on the channel itself. It's great. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, who knows? So anyway, here is Nate Logue. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh jeez. This is
How you doing?
Hey, gentlemen.
oh
How's
boy.
it going?
This is a foreign guy here. Oh boy. Hey coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good to see that you're wearing your face mask out there in public.
Absolutely.
So we just had a few questions to throw your way regarding this year and the most recent news in the NFL having to do with certain players sitting out this season. And how do you think that'll affect the draft?
I'm short on time, so you probably got 2 questions for me. But the first one is, it's going to be a wild ride as it is every single time. I saw the commission scheduled for an offline draft. I'm excited about that. And as the league champ, I would personally like to do it at Nicole's in Olympia, Washington. The Roots for everybody here. My guy Jackson.
What up? What up?
Might have to stop by.
I wanted to be in the league, but
help me out. He would like to join the long list of teams wanting to join. I know there's about 40 to 60 other teams looking to join. And that's my 2 cents. I say we do it 1 week before the NFL season starts, give those players time to opt in or opt out. And we do it right here. The rest is on the commish. So it's up in the air.
Absolutely. That's a really great idea. And we do appreciate you taking the time. So Joe, do you have any questions? I don't want to take up.
Yeah. I just, my first question, Nate, Coach Logue, thank you for taking the time. And
Absolutely.
it was great to see you on the last episode. And so sorry that my attention was a little divided when I was playing golf. But I just sort of wanted to ask you sort of how you're adjusting, sort of how you're preparing for the season, who you have your eyes on, how closely you're following the NFL.
I'm doing mock drafts almost daily. I work summer camps, and we have an hour of quiet reading time. And what I like to do there is do my mock drafts. And some of these kids actually have decent insight who are 12, 13, 14 years old. The younger ones, absolute crap. They want me to take Russell Wilson with the first pick. And that's just a Neil Shea move. But with that, I'm going to have to let you boys go. Thank you for having me on.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us, Nate Logue. Wow, he sort of just that was a little sucker punch there at the end. He sort of just God, what do you call that? It's sort of God, I
Well,
don't know.
you
Sneak
well, you know
attack.
what, you know what, Joe. I apologize for bringing up your past there a little bit earlier. Um, I feel like I deserve that one. That's a little karma punching me right in the gut.
I think what goes around comes around, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Neil, I can't say that I draft any better than you do, though. I sort of comically named my team Andy Can Pass after I drafted, I think, 3 wide receivers with my first 3 picks. Wasn't a smart move.
But I feel like that was a little unwarranted from the defending champion, who I've praised. Nothing but absolute praise for him the past few weeks, and God damn it! Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that was a stinger.
All I heard in that interview, besides his little diss track he threw at me there, was he's using outside resources, um, third-party tactics to get insight into something that this isn't something I believe. I think this should be an internal investigation that the commissioner should look into.
I think it's something worth looking into. I think also what you have to look into is the 12 and 13-year-olds. You talked about sort of extra insight. Those kids are on there. They're on Instagrams. They're on the TikTok, and they're watching content all the time about the NFL. I mean, nobody knows more about the NFL than 12 and 13-year-olds.
Yeah, what the heck? I mean,
So
what is?
we also do you think Jackson Lord there who mentioned it, he was there next to Coach Logue. He mentioned wanting to join the league. We'll get into him joining the league, the possibility of expanding the league in a second. But do you think he has masks or face coverings that aren't ACDC related?
You know, I also wondered that right as I saw him. I really, really want to believe that he has something other than a potential electronic symbolism with the ACDC mask covering, because isn't that an electronic euphemism?
Yeah, I think it's a term. It's like yeah, like high voltage kind of.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know exactly what else that could mean, but he is a really hardcore fan of the electronics. So I don't know.
He's an electrician, isn't he?
I thought so. I thought he was a television repairman,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's why he's such a big LA Charger fan.
exactly. That's shame they lost Phillip Rivers, but
Right.
but yeah, you know what? I think that those are the only ones he actually owns, and I don't think he's ever going to change.
More power to him. Yeah, I was just just curious. I wonder what that stack of masks looks like at the Lord residence. It's got to be just full ACDC.
And I mean, he obviously is a big Faux Fantasy fan because he threw up the old crossbars there. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, he knows that that's our symbol.
yeah, he knows the
I
football
saw
sign.
University of Texas started doing that too
Really?
recently.
Hey,
I think
oh,
after we started season 2.
yeah, you know what? Football night in America, right?
Absolutely. Hey, what do you
Right.
think of the suit, by the way? I asked Jim Nance who his suit person was, and he referred me, and I got fitted.
I was gonna mention that earlier, that your suit, is that tweed?
Yeah, it's a tweed blazer, and then
Dang.
the shirt's Calvin Klein, and the tie is Root Bizzle.
Wow.
If
Mine's
that isn't
actually,
the most if that isn't the most annoying name for a company. Sorry if that's somebody's last name.
well, I think mine's actually Noble William. Also stands for
Ah,
goodwill. Um, but yeah, it's pretty dapper.
it's a lovely blazer. It fits you well.
It's actually a little It's a little snug, but
Yeah.
gets the job
You
done.
got to do the arm test, right?
That's about as high as I can go. But on camera, I melt.
You look good.
I feel good. I could probably bust out of these seams, but I just got a good pump on.
Well, Neil, that I'd hate to make it a quick episode, but wow, we got a very short interview from Coach Logue there.
I obviously he's enjoying the off season a little too much there, and I thoroughly believe that that's going to come and bite him in the ass later on.
I don't want to speculate, but was he drunk?
You know what?
That's not good.
He's of age, and we're off. Oh boy!
But for an interview, though, right? He knew that he was going to be interviewed. It's a little unprofessional when you're working with the media.
He did just he sent me a text message, not through our group chat. One-on-one.
A personal message.
Personal, which is something you never do to a media member.
That's really a big no-no.
Would you like me to read it on camera?
Yeah, he set himself up for this. He knew that we
hell
were
you
still
doing, dude?
recording. Yeah. Excuse me,
goes,
let me take a sip of Voss.
Spit take coming.
Hold on, let me read one quick ad. I have to say this. Voss is boss. Okay. All right, sorry.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Perfect. So he puts this in quotes. I want to apologize to the host of the show. I meant to say Jake Spiller move, not Neil Shea move. He has drafted all Seahawks and all Browns 2 of the last 3 years. My comment was hurtful and wrong. I would like to take the opportunity to correct my statement and redirect my comment to the correct party. Coach Nate Logue, August 5th, 2020, 8:49. I hope the media can get this out.
Well, your wish is granted. It's out.
Oh, I don't want to do that. But yeah.
Wow. So this gets a little juicier, right? Because Nate is fighting for that commissioner position.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this, and I will make sure to put this in the video so you guys can all see.
Yeah, that is big league news. There's the current commissioner and the want to be commissioner have been going head to head now for quite some time, and apparently that fight continues today.
I mean, he's owning up to his mistake there, but if he is, as you said, a little inebriated, what do they always say, Joe?
Fool me once, shame on you.
What they say is when you're inebriated, you speak the truth.
Whoa.
So let that one resonate with you.
So do you mean that
he said what he meant to say?
He said what he meant to say, directed at you, not at the commissioner.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll take that to heart, what he sent, but
I think what you do there, Neil, is you say, I'll see you on the field.
Good one.
So Coach Logue suggested doing the draft at a bar amidst a deadly global pandemic. What are your thoughts on that?
It's really interesting that he brought that up. Do I agree with it? That's really, I guess that's really cutting the divide there. And frankly, you never really know how the league would react to it. I think you should give everybody an option. And he's obviously putting himself on one side of the old stance.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, it really begs the question: what does the commissioner actually plan on doing? Why is he still silent? I mean, it's hard to get an interview with that man. So
He's a busy guy, and he's got a whole bunch of new stipulations he's got to write up, and it's his new term in office as a commissioner of this league. So I mean, but as we learned last week, he did this to himself. He self-elected himself, which has gone unquestioned by the league.
it's unprecedented.
So,
I mean, I think every year it was sort of there's an informal collective conversation about who the commissioner is going to be. I don't think it's ever been a unilateral decision. This year it was. So
I don't really understand how he's getting away with all of this, to be honest.
well, there are no systems in place to make sure he does anything else, right? I mean, so until he's checked. Now, I want to be clear for the record. I'm speaking here as a journalist. I'm speaking for the people. I've heard a lot of concerns about Commissioner Spiller. This might be a good time to actually just get personal and just air out my thoughts on his job as a commissioner. I think it's a really hard job. You know, as much as we mention his private flights to Mexico and all those things, that's on his own dime. You know the salary for OFFL commissioner?
Is it though?
Well, no, I don't know if sort of he has outside boosters or anything like that, donors, but the salary is zero.
I know for a fact he gets a nice little pension from a certain construction company that pays him a pretty penny. So they keep him hush hush because I don't know what he's got a little working underneath the table, but him and that construction company, they
So that's so when he's up taking those Snapchats in those high-rise buildings, are you telling me he's brushing elbows with the construction executives?
I don't know, man. I want to think he's got his mind
I thought
on the league.
he just liked good views and good scenery.
No, man. That's all him bumping elbows with the higher ups of high level construction bids, just understanding what today's real estate is going to look like and how he's going to just finagle his way into what tomorrow's going to look like. I guarantee you.
Jesus. So you're telling me he's using this position just as a jumping off point to just propel him into obscene riches?
I think that this is just all a facade, man.
Hold on one second. Wow. Well,
I think we should leave it at that.
I think we should leave it at that. I was going to go into my thoughts on the commissioner, but now I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I was going to say it's a really hard job. It's a thankless job. It's a payless job. And I think from my view, he's done his best to run the league to the best of his ability. Now that you bring up the construction thing, this is something we're going to have to dig into, and we're just going to have to hear about from him, from the cactus's mouth, as the saying goes.
See where the water comes from.
Right. And until the well runs dry, as they say. So
Yeah.
Neil, this has been fantastic. Thank you all for joining us on episode 2, season 2 of Faux Fantasy. And Neil, any last thoughts?
I am clean. I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.